Irrational fears are meant to be irrational, explained away when everything seems to fall into proper place. Spiders aren't going to climb into your mouth while you sleep. A penny dropped from the highest level of the Empire State Building is not going to shatter your skull when it hits you. Most people with irrational fears get over it at some point. They outgrow it or become desensitized. But what if you're like me? Still dealing with this crap at my age. Now, I've mentioned my irrational fear before on Twitter and Tumblr, but I've never really gone into depth about it because... when you were bullied as severely as I was in elementary, middle, and high school, you're a little wary of letting people in on your bullshit. I also, aside from the rational fear, have a deeply rooted fear of being made fun of. That being said, you guys are allowed to laugh. I promise. I know how silly my irrational fear is. You are allowed to laugh, okay? This horribly irrational fear of mine doesn't have an actual legitimate phobia name, like nyctophobia being the fear of the dark, or arachnophobia for spiders. I don't have a real name for it, unfortunately, which makes actually understanding where it comes from a lot harder to pin down. But, okay, enough stalling. You want to know what my irrational fear is? It's plesiosaurs. Yep, the goddamn Loch Ness Monster. Specifically, since we're going there, getting killed by one. Typically while I'm in the shower. I meant what I said earlier, you're allowed to laugh. Go on, I'll wait. Got that out of your system? Okay. It honestly all started when I was about 7 or 8 years old. There was a show on Animal Planet at the time called Animal X. Had really creepy, atmospheric music. Did not help. I didn't really get it. See, I thought all the creatures they were talking about were verified as real. Just mysterious. But no, they mostly talked about really famous cryptids. I don't know why my brain latched on to sea monsters as the thing to be terrified of. Not something like Bigfoot or aliens or the Goatman or even the Chupacabra. No, something that actually made a teeny bit more sense. No, it was just Nessie, or Champ, or Ogopogo. Yeah, anyone who knows me knows that I love cryptozoology, and I have done more than one video on sea monsters. At my age of 28, I know, again, you can laugh, you'd think I'd be over it by now, completely good. This sounds like something you'd be afraid of for like maybe a year tops when you're 8 or 9, maybe. And yet, here we are. The truth is, it goes deeper than just being afraid. We're gonna have to get even more personal in order to understand why it's such a problem. I have OCD, diagnosed as a teenager, and intrusive thoughts have always been a problem. Since I was a kid, intrusive thoughts have been a problem. My intrusive thoughts, other than the classic violent or sexual ones, plesiosaurs. Specifically, there's a plesiosaur nearby. It is going to kill you. Do not close your eyes. Do not turn around. Do not move. You will die if it sees you. You will die if you see it. The worst part is knowing that none of the above is fucking true. That's the worst part. Being terrified and being unable to turn off the fear sometimes. There's nothing there never is, there never was, there never will be. Being rooted in reality helps cement that, but as a child, holy shit, it was a nightmare. I lived in the state of Maryland, with an estuary of the Chesapeake Bay maybe a 10-minute walk from my house. But this fear of mine? Oh, God. The bay was teeming with elusive creatures. A pond was a feeding ground. An empty swimming pool held a camouflaged beast. Didn't matter that I could see the bottom. Of course they could camouflage. OCD brain doesn't care about logic. A mud puddle was a trap lying in wait. Yeah, you heard me. 8 years old and losing my shit over a goddamn mud puddle. If I couldn't see the bottom, that must meant there was no bottom, and anything could be in there. Anything meant a plesiosaur. And then the shower. Oh my god, the fucking shower. The shower was the worst thing. Water, no escape, confined in a little white room, and you have to close your eyes at some point to keep the soap out of them. Every shower I took from the age of 7 to 17, you can laugh, I've already said that, went like this in my head. Please don't make me go in there. You don't understand. Don't make me do this. Please don't do this to me. You don't get it. If I go in there, I'm gonna die. I don't want to die. I'm gonna die. Oh god. Oh god. No. Don't make me do this. No. Stop. Help. Don't let it get me. Please. Don't make me do this. Help. You get the idea. Now imagine that unrestrained panic every time you have to bathe. For over a decade. Yeah, it's no wonder I have hygiene issues now. Every shower meant death. I close my eyes, I will die. If I keep them closed, I will die. How will I die? The goddamn Loch Ness Monster. Not something rational, like stepping on a bar of soap, or Norman Bates, with a knife and a dress. People don't get it. You tell them you're afraid of plesiosaurs and they crack a joke about owing some crustacean tree fitty. By the way, that joke is hilarious. And you let them laugh because you know it's silly. But if it's so silly, why do I get so scared? Even now, I can't look at an image of a plesiosaur without panicking. I'm using pictures for this video because I'm trying to be brave. Hell, it's not just pictures. The cutest drawing can sometimes make me uneasy. A crappy CGI thing from a movie? Panic. A good animatronic from a movie? Panic. A crosshatch ink drawing from the 1800s? Panic. I know it's silly, but my brain does not care. It doesn't matter that plesiosaurs and their brethren died out millions of years ago. It doesn't matter that plesiosaur necks don't work like all those famous photos. It doesn't matter that the surgeon photograph was a hoax. And it doesn't matter that Trey the Explainer did a wonderful series on the myth of Nessie that debunks everything about Nessie. It doesn't matter. My brain does not care. When I say my brain, I mean it like this. There's myself, who is conscious, and then there's my subconscious, which does whatever the hell it wants. My subconscious, which I call brain, is an asshole, and I can't control anything that it does most of the time. But Brain and I are both scared of plesiosaurs. Before you say anything, yeah, I talked to a shrink about it. She didn't know why I latched onto plesiosaurs either. I ran it by a friend of mine who was doing a double major in biology like, hey, you're smart. Any ideas? She thinks it was puberty and autism related. Autistic individuals like myself have a track record for having irrational fears on par with what I'm dealing with. The biggest thing with me? The neck. I don't know why, but the necks are what do it. Mosasaurs don't do anything for me. I think mosasaurs are cool. Hell, my biology buddy that I talked about a minute ago, she gave me a mosasaur tooth as a gift. That shit is awesome. A Leopleurodon? Mild discomfort. It's got a bit of a neck. Classic plesiosaur? No thank you. The elasmosaur? Oh god. Oh fuck. This is how I die. Get that away from me. Jesus Christ. Fuck! The only good thing about all this, now that I'm essentially an adult, I rarely have panic attacks about it anymore. I still do on occasion, but maybe a few times a year. I don't have leg-locking terror at the sight of a Nessie picture, just mild annoyance or mild discomfort, not full-blown panic. But I do have days where showering is difficult. And it's not often, but it happens. And considering I've been dealing with this for about 20 years, it's probably not going away anytime soon. But I manage. It's all I can do, and it's better than not being able to manage. Well, that's That's it. You now know more about me than you ever needed to. I hope it was fun. I hope you got a laugh out of it. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate you guys giving me time to talk. That said, anyone who sends me vids or pics of plesiosaurs or any kind of sea monster is getting blocked and put in a sour jar. I mean it. Well, anyway, this is Dante signing off. I'll see you guys past sunset. Good night.